What if I told you that there is a move that will solve all of your opening problems as black? A move so versatile and powerful that you can literally pre-move it against anything. Well, Merry Christmas, because it does exist, and I'm going to teach you how to use it. This way, you can stop losing the overwhelming majority of your games, and start losing just the majority of your games. In this series, I will bestow upon you the power of black's most versatile opening. E6. You can play this against every white opening, and it's good against all of them. In this episode, you're going to learn how to use E6 against the king's pawn, which we in the biz refer to as the commonly confused with immediately forfeiting. The French defense in chess is actually very effective. Once you learn the variations, it's a powerful weapon to emotionally abuse people who are expecting the Sicilian. So strap in, because it's about to get a little bit technical. The advanced variation. This is what most people will do against the French. It starts with E4 and then E6. You idiot. You've given up the center for free, because now they can play D4. Once they do this, you need to attack the center with D5, and then white advances for more space with E5. So now, white has more space, they have better control of the center, and you can't develop your knight properly. Excellent. Don't worry, the plan here is to attack white's center, so we play C5. If they take it, they've given up the center and let you develop by recapturing with the bishop. So unless they're as bad as you are, they won't take it. They'll play C3 instead. Then you play knight C6, adding pressure to the pawn. They play knight f3, defending it. And now you hit them with queen b6. It's a war for d4. And right about here is where white or black will probably make an idiotic mistake. If white ever moves this bishop, you can take on b2, and you're going to win unless you suffered from chronic lead poisoning at an early age. Usually though, they'll play a3, bishop e2, or bishop e3. If they play bishop e2, bring your knight out like this, and half the time they'll take it. If they take it, take here, and then this happens, and you're winning. If they don't take it, develop something like this, and you're in a solid position. a3 is a really good move. It's the main line. So just hope they don't do that. But if they do, play c4, then knight a5, then bishop d2, and half the time they'll make the mistake of pushing this pawn too early. When this happens, take it and then pin the knight. You will trade queens and end up in this position. If your opponent is smart enough to play this move, you will end up with an equalish position. If they don't, and they probably won't, you're going to win material. Easy. But if they don't push the pawn too early, and they just string you along, preserving the tension and making you suffer, they have probably spent more time studying this than watching a 6-minute YouTube video, so you're fucked anyway. If they play bishop e3, it cuts off the queen from defending the d pawn, which means you can safely take it like this, and you've won a pawn. Psych. You just lost your queen, dummy. If you didn't spot this discovered check, pause, wipe the drool off your chin, and watch this video instead. Instead of taking twice, take once, and move the bishop here to prevent discovered check. Making anticipatory moves is called prophylaxis, which is Latin for I am smarter than you. They might castle and give you a free pawn, in which case just wing it since you're up material. However, they will probably do this, saving the pawn. Then play knight b4. If they move the knight or they castle, take the bishop and you've got a good position. If they move the bishop, put your bishop here, and they will solemnly regret their life choices. That's all you need to know about the advanced variation. Moving on. The exchange variation. This is the most artistic opening in chess, because it's played by people with a passion for drawing. If this happens and you trade pawns, you end up like this. And it's extremely lame. You can play symmetrically like this, or you can try your best to make it interesting by playing knight e7 and developing like this. Either way, the exchange variation is about as satisfying as the handshakes you get at chess tournaments. Moving on. The Paulson variation. Sometimes they will protect the pawn with the knight instead of advancing, like this. If this happens, bring your knight here. They will try to pin it like this, so unpin it. Then they will advance the pawn. When they do, bring your knight here, exchange bishops and go for c5 like before. They'll go f4 because they lack creativity. And then you play a6 and then c5. If you don't play a6, enjoy that fat 6th ranked knight that's going to be there forever now. Remember outpost squares from this video? It's all coming together now, isn't it? Moving on. Sometimes they'll try to sacrifice a pawn like this, and all you have to do is resist your overpowering lizard brain impulse to take it. Trust me, it's not worth the pain. Play h6, trade bishops and proceed as before. The Tarrasch variation. This is where they protect the pawn like this. When this happens, just play knight f6 like before. They will advance like before, and you will put the knight on d7 like before. They will put the bishop here like before. Chuck c5 at them like before, and they'll play c3 like before. Attack it with the knight like before, then they will go to d2 with their white herbivore. Take, and play f6. If they take, just recapture with the knight, bring your bishop here, and they'll come here. Then you castle, they will offer a trade of bishops which you will accept. And then bring your knight to e4. Once you're here, you're basically just chilling. However, if they are an edgy aggro player, they will do this instead of taking on f6. This is extremely annoying because it means they think they are better than you, which they probably are. In response, take the d pawn, protecting e6 in the process. Then you get punished for not castling with queen h5 check. And now you have to play king e7, which is not very 21 Savage. The knight comes here, you are forced to take it and lose the exchange. Bring your king to f7, and believe it or not, you're actually doing fine here. You have a strong center and more active pieces. Improve your center with e5, and then just use your huge tactical brain to come up with something. I trust you. The King's Indian attack. Any opening that has the word Indian in it is good. End of story. White's plan is to fee and counter the bishop and expand in the center. You should develop normally like this, and put your bishop on b7 to counterattack the center. Play c5 to claim more space, develop your knight to c6, and castle. There are many minor deviations from this trajectory, but once you have the idea of which squares to put your pieces on, you're pretty unlikely to get checkmated in the opening, which is more than you can say for yourself right now. Congratulations! You have just absorbed the power of using e6 against e4. Use it in your next few games to get some practice. Watch the video again at half speed if you're slow in the uptake. Like the video and share it with your friends. I know you're desperate to learn more about e6, so subscribe to the channel for the next episode, where I'll walk you through using e6 against the queen's pawn. I'll see you next time.